Let's start with the vocabulary as usual. The first word or phrase is actually two words, is local government. I mentioned that in the introduction to this lesson. Local government. When we think about government, there are different types of government. Local government is a government that controls a county, a city, or town, but not a country. So a local government is a smaller government. It might control, like they said, a county, a city, or a town. A town is smaller than a city, or a county. A county is a subdivision. In America, a county is a subdivision of a state, right? So let's take the example of California. California is one state, but there are many, many counties, smaller areas in California that have their own local governments, right? Of course, you have the national government that oversees all the states. Then each state has their own state government, and then each county might have their own government as well. Now, of course, if you have a town or a city, that's a large group of people. They need their own government for that town or city. So, government can get very complicated, different types of government. But local government is a small government for a small, specific area. Next, we have tax. Taxes. I hope you don't have to worry about taxes, but when you get older, yeah, everybody worries about taxes. Okay, so money, tax is money that the government collects from you. And there are different types of taxes. When you go to the store and buy something, now, not in Korea, you don't really, it's not apparent, it might be hidden. But in America, for example, they'll have what we call a sales tax. So let's say you go to the store and you buy an ice cream cone. And the ice cream cone is $1. So do you pay $1? No. You may pay $1.07 because the extra 7 cents is the sales tax on the ice cream. And it doesn't matter what you buy, whether it's ice cream, glue, gas for your car, taxes are added into that. So there's sales tax. There's income tax. When you earn money, you have to pay taxes. A portion of the money that you earn, you have to pay that to local or national government as part of taxes. And that's how the governments get the money that they need to do this, to perform the services that they do for the citizens. So the government collects money from you, but of course the government needs money in order to operate. Budget. So you have to be careful with money, right? And you need to make a plan for spending. Budget really is a plan for spending money. A plan for spending, I'll just put spending because obviously money. Spending, a plan for spending. So it's also the amount of money that is needed for a purpose. Yeah, you could say, if your parents want to buy something. Let's say your family wants to buy a new car. Your parents might say, we don't have the budget for that. Or our budget will not cover that. In other words, they cannot make a proper plan to spend that amount of money because they don't have enough money. But be careful, budget is not money. Budget is a plan to spend money. So, and it's also can be used the amount of money that is needed for a purpose. So you could say a new car will not fit into our budget. It's not correct according to our plan. Okay, so budget. Be careful spending your money. Make a good budget. Okay. City council. Now we talked about different types of government. We talked about local governments. Now, and remember, local governments can govern a certain area. We talked about town, city, county, and state could be local government too. But if you're talking just about a city, the city council, that is the government that governs a whole city. And it's a council. A council means it is a group of people, right? A council is several people, usually 5, could be 7, 8, 9, depends on the size of the city and how the city manages its affairs. And usually the council members, they might be in charge of different departments. Like one council member is in charge of making sure the roads are clean and safe. Another council member might be in charge of water or other services that you get at your home. So it depends, on the type of the city. And many different cities have different types of councils. So they're all different. It's very hard to give you an example of just one city council. But it's a city government which makes and passes laws. Now, it's important to realize that, of course, these laws are just for that city, and they do not contradict state or federal law, right? They don't make laws about crimes like murder or burglary. Those are state and federal laws. But they do make laws about when will garbage be collected? If you throw garbage on the street, what is the punishment for that? You can't just throw garbage on the street. What about parking? They will make laws about parking, garbage collection, utilities, electricity and water usage. So they make laws that are very specific and concern local issues. Okay, but big issues like murder, crime, robbery, robbery, other types of crime, those are usually state or federal laws. Okay. Lawmaker. Of course, who makes the laws? Very easy. Lawmaker. It's one word, but a lawmaker is a person who makes law. And there are many different levels. Like we just saw the city council, those people will make laws on a local level. Here we have a picture, and you notice the picture is the United States Senate. So this man is a member of Congress, Senate and House of Representatives. And all those people, what do? They make laws on a national level. They are also called lawmakers. So whether a person makes the laws at the national level, the state level, or the local city or county level, they are all lawmakers. They all make laws. And of course, a democratic society like America and many other countries around the world, laws are the key to having a successful democracy. Everybody must follow or obey the laws, and people need to make the laws. And sometimes the laws are changed for different situations. So being a lawmaker is a very important position, a very important, very responsible position to have in a democratic society. Okay. Constitution. Now, I heard that sometimes people have difficulty pronouncing this, and it's not really the words, it's just putting it all together. Is it easy to say this word? Constitution. When you have a large word like this, it's easy to think about it in different parts. There are 4 different parts, syllables, or in Korean, umjul, right? Sa umjuls. Okay, sorry. But 4 syllables in constitution. What are they? Constitution. So if you're having difficulty pronouncing a large word like this with usually 3 or more syllables, syllable, I'll spell that for you. And remember, syllable is like umjul. I can't talk and write at the same time. Yeah, that's right. Syllable. Syllable is like umjul. It's like you break the word into different syllables. So we say constitution. And then just put those words together a little bit more quickly each time. Constitution. Constitution, 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 constitution. So it's constitution, okay? And constitution is basically a set of basic laws for a country. So each democratic country in the world will have a constitution. And a constitution just sets what are the basic laws, right? And they usually tell you what are your rights. In America, the Constitution gives people the right to freely assemble, meet, and gather. It gives them the right to say whatever they want as long as they don't harm anybody. It's a little complicated there, but you have freedom of speech. In America, you have the freedom to have a gun, to own a gun. So these are all rights that are given to you in the Constitution. They are laws that are granted to the citizens of a country. Okay, that's a constitution. Next, we have judge. So we talked about lawmakers before, people who make laws, but again, people have to follow the laws. So what happens when people don't follow the laws? Well, then they go to court and they must face a judge. And a judge is a person in a court of law, who decides how the law should be applied. So if someone breaks the law, well, first of all, we have to decide, did they really break the law or not? Some cases are like that. And the judge will say, oh, he didn't break the law. He acted within the law. There was no case. So sometimes that happens. But sometimes, and more often, people obviously break the law. There's no question about that. So the judge has to decide what will the consequence of that be? What will happen to that person because they broke the law? Will they have to pay money or will they go to jail? So how do you apply the law in that case? Next, we have suggest. If you have an idea and you want to give that idea to another person, you say, oh, I have a good idea. I think you should do this. Then you are suggesting your idea. You are introducing your idea, or maybe you have a more formal idea. We call it a plan, and you've written it down. So you have a plan, and you want to introduce this and say, hey, this is a good thing to do. We should do this. Then you are suggesting something. You're suggesting, for example, a course of action. So, and it could be very simple. I suggest we go to the beach this weekend. That's an idea, right? If it's hot and sunny outside, why not? That's a good suggestion. Okay, suggest, suggestion. Okay. Next, we have punishment. Remember, I just talked about judge, and the judge really decides what punishment should be made for someone who breaks the law. A punishment is a penalty. Penalty is a consequence, a negative consequence for doing something wrong. If you do something wrong, your mom might spank you. Now, this is an interesting picture. I had some discussion with a coworker, and we were discussing whether it was legal or not for parents to spank. What is she doing? This action, it's a verb, spank. Is it legal to spank your child? And it's interesting. I didn't know this, but I looked up on the internet. In Europe, in many European countries, it's illegal for parents to spank their children. In America, it's legal. Parents do have the right to spank their children, but they cannot cause harm or injury to that child. Of course not. That would be terrible. But, it's kind of an interesting thing. When I was young, nobody thought about that. I got spanked when I was a bad boy, right? So, it depends, on the degree and the extent of it. But it is a type of punishment. It's a negative consequence to doing something wrong. If you're caught doing something wrong, you will receive a penalty or a punishment. And again, like I said, that could be a fine. Maybe the judge makes you pay money, or the judge says you need to go to jail. Those are also types of punishments. Okay, good. Those are the vocabulary words for this lesson.
Lesson 4. Local government. Local government. A government that controls a county, city, or town, but not a country. Tax. Money that the government collects from you. Budget. The amount of money that is needed for a purpose. City council. A city government which makes and passes laws. Lawmaker. A person who makes law. Constitution. A set of basic laws for a country. Judge. A person in a court who decides how the law should be applied. Suggest. To introduce an idea or plan. Punishment. A penalty for doing something wrong.